In this module, we are going to break the chain. I'm going to give you 10 harsh truths that is going to help set you free. Now, I'm going to start off with a quick story on where I got the title for this module. It begins with this beautiful, majestic, huge animal called an elephant. Unfortunately, back in the day when we used to attend circuses, we'd see these humongous animals chained to this tiny little stake. And you often wondered, how does a 2-ton elephant not pull away from it and stampede through the audience? Well, unfortunately, it starts from such a very tiny age when they are calves. See, when they are small, their circus owners would put them in this chain, tie their one leg to it, and then stake it in the ground. Now, when they're that big, they try to pull, they try to tug, and unfortunately, they're not big enough to break the chain. And as they get older, they get conditioned to keep thinking that this chain is unbreakable because they tried at such a young age and failed. Unfortunately, they don't try again. And then they live their life chained to this tiny stake, when in fact, one little tug and they could be on their merry way. See, these chains are holding us back both in our personal life and our professional life. And I'm going to share some of these 10 truths that is going to definitely help break free from them. Now, let's dive into it, shall we? Let's start off with the first one. Do it for you. So many people get into business, start entrepreneurship, build a side hustle, try to climb the corporate ladder for others. When I often tell my clients, internalize it and start with you. What's your why? What is the motivating factor? And it's okay to be selfish for this in a moment. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? I really want to make a lot of money, because that's completely okay. Some people will often tell you that, you know what, money doesn't buy you happiness. And you can continue to listen to that statement, or you can go and live out the life you truly want, desire, and deserve. Now, I will say this because no one is coming to save you, unfortunately. Mel Robbins touches on this fantastically in some of her podcasts, and it's so true. When the cards get stacked against you and things get hard, sometimes you're not going to have anyone rooting you on. But it isn't until you see success that everyone starts giving you the accolades and the cheering section that now you really don't need, because you have the success to back up the result. So as you're in this journey, you have to remember, recall, and just realize that no one's here to save you. Now, what's powerful about this community is that we can save each other. We can help each other when things go astray. We can help each other when we have problems arise. And I really want everyone to lean into this community. And for those that are ultra successful or that have had success in a problem that someone else has experienced, help them out. I swear, I promise you, karma has this beautiful, magical thing of coming back full circle, so that when the time comes where you might need help with a massive problem, well, that mentor might just show up. I want you to endure and embrace your new reality. I've touched on this in a past module, but pain is inevitable. And unfortunately, the only way that you're going to grow through it is to endure it. It's just like when you're in the gym. If you are trying to build muscle, there's going to be a lot of painful moments. But on the end of it is a lot of reward, success, muscle growth, strength, discipline. I love this one. Regret will haunt you more than rejection. And so many people live in rejection right now. What do I mean by that? That they listen to others, they get no a couple times, they let fear creep in, and that they stop going after their dreams. And unfortunately, a lot of the young entrepreneurs, well, they're like that baby elephant. They don't try again because they're terrified that they're going to screw up again. They're terrified that they're going to lose more money. When in fact, sometimes you have so much more time to make multiple mistakes. Gary Vaynerchuk touches on this a lot. And he explains that, you know what, you could screw up your entire 20s and still be ahead of a lot of people in their 30s and even 40s who have gone through the corporate world. Because guess what you bring? A Rolodex of experience. And sometimes, just sometimes, that can trump the work-life people that I've just kind of coasted through. I know, no sucks. Get used to it. You're going to hear it a lot. And the more you hear it, the more you get familiar with it, and the more you find creative ways to search for the yes. See, that's where the game begins. That's where the fun begins. But I ultimately want you to remember, did you even try? And really try? Did you give it your all when you went after this business or this improving your personal life, whatever that goal might be? Did you really empty out the tank? Because often as humans, I feel we only give that 50% and we call it 100. So just really dig deep and see how far you can actually push yourself. Because as humans, we actually can endure a lot more than we currently think. Look back into the past of the history books and you can see how bad humans were to each other and how much we could truly endure. Your habits are keeping you comfortable. Again, I've touched on this in a past module, but I think it's important to bring back up. You are going to suck in the very beginning. I can assure you of that. Whether it's your first, second, third, fourth, 10th podcast, shooting content, editing, going in for a sales pitch, you're going to be weak. But guess what you're going to do? Back to that. You're going to gain experience. You're going to gain knowledge. You're going to gain history of what worked and what didn't. I want you to remember the first time you tried something. Let's go back to, let's even say riding a bike. I know it might be a distant memory for some, but remember the first time you took off the training wheels and you fell and you wobbled, but you kept going and then you kept trying and then you just kept moving forward. I want you to continue to think like this with business. The first time, you aren't expected to be great. The first business you start might bomb. The second business might fail miserably. But if you just keep going, that's how you can really succeed. Because I really want you to stop taking criticism and advice from people that you are not looking up to or looking towards. What do I mean by that? I have some mentors in my life. They have been tremendously helpful in many facets, in the real estate space, public speaking sphere, my business worlds, and they are someone I truly aspire to become. And they are miles ahead of me. Now, that doesn't make them better than me, but it's something that I achieve for and strive for. So when then they speak or they bring advice, I listen, and I listen intently. Whereas sometimes you can look around the room and you can talk to the people in your sphere of influence, and if they aren't doing what you want to do, I don't know if I take their opinion. You might love them, you might be best friends with them, but I caution you. Who are you getting your advice, your criticism, and your feedback from? Now, this is what's so powerful about this community, is that I encourage people in this group to not criticize. The reason why is because we all started somewhere. So I want this to be an uplifting and open environment that is going to promote people failure and also their successes. Do a people audit of the people you surround yourself with. Again, we've heard this statement a million times. You are the average of the 5 people you spend your most time with, so choose accordingly. And there is a lot of truth to that. If you have 5 drinking buddies, well, you probably are going to become the 6th. If you surround yourself with a bunch of gym rats, good chance you're probably going to be that 6th. See, your environment can condition you. And when you don't have the discipline or the habits built in yet, sometimes the people in that environment are the ones that can project and push you forward. So lean on that one. Stop delaying the work. What do I mean by this? So many people, I feel, repeat the same 6 months to a year every year, and then they wonder why they're not ahead. It's like Groundhog Day. They know they've got 2 or 3 days worth of work, but they push it out for 2-3 years. And I just sometimes challenge them to say, just rip the Band-Aid off and go for it. I am guilty of this. There are certain things that I absolutely despise doing, a lot of administrative tasks. And I know I procrastinate and push them off. And all I'm doing is delaying the pain for the future when I should just be tackling it in the present. So the next time that you say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it the next day, tackle it today. You'll feel so much better that you got it out of the way. Stop over-learning. You can watch a million YouTube videos on how to ride a bike. But unless you get on the bike, you're never going to learn. So just like in business, just like in personal life, just in maybe whatever endeavor you're going after, you just have to put the learning aside for a little bit and just go execute. I often am a school of hard knocks where the execution, I feel, teaches you a lot more about yourself and about what you need to learn faster than a textbook. I also wasn't the strongest in school. Now, I wasn't stupid, but I wasn't your A+ student. But I often learned a lot from what they call street smarts. Getting my hands dirty, just figuring it out, tinkering with things, and then building it. And then realizing, oh, okay, this didn't work. Then I can resort to YouTube or something. But I often find so many people just keep analyzing and watch the next video and read the next book. It's just like, no, go do it, please. Stop romanticizing shortcuts. Oh man, this is an important and powerful one because social media is just littered with it right now. These 5 hacks are going to save you from doing this problem. These 3 hacks can make you a millionaire tomorrow. It's like, no, the shortcuts don't. It's the hard work that gets it done. Think about it. There wasn't a shortcut for NHL players. There wasn't a shortcut for the NFL players. There wasn't a shortcut for your favorite tennis star. They had to put in the work and a lot of practice and a lot of reps. Because finding faster isn't always better. Because those shortcuts often reveal problems and issues that usually make the problem bigger. And there's some I can share from the real estate world when I was flipping. There were so many times where we tried to speed up processes and we tried to find a hack to make it faster. And guess what? When we got to the next step, I just found that the problem was magnified because we didn't take that extra little bit of effort to make it right from the first part. So my advice, skip the hacks, put in the work, lean on this community, and keep crushing it. You are holding a winning hand. But here's the problem. 2 reasons you're not winning. You're holding the hand and the cards in the wrong game. You might be holding a poker hand when you're playing euchre, or you might be holding a scope of cards when you're trying to play poker. And the Scopa is an Italian card game. But you don't know the game yet. You have to learn it. So if you have the wrong cards in your hand, well, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to play the game. So sometimes you don't have the skill sets, you don't have the execution, you don't have the feedback, you don't have the information. So therefore, you can't play the game yet. And so many people are impatient and they just jump in saying, I want to make money in crypto. But they've never invested $1 or even researched crypto yet. And then when they lose all their money, they think it's a scam. I hate to break to you, maybe it is, maybe it wasn't. However, you jumped in a game you weren't ready to play. And the other problem is people are watching others. You're envious of others. You see people succeed, the shiny penny syndrome, and they chase the next big thing. And guess what happens? You get envious, you get jealous, you get upset, you get frustrated. Why did that person make money? And instead, push that all aside. And instead of using envy, jealousy, use analysis. Ask them how they did it. Ask them how they gained their income. Ask them how they were able to grow their business. Ask them how they were able to lose 50 pounds. See, envy is an absolute energy killer. And I feel like it just crushes all of your goals in a bad way. So when it comes to that, analyze it, learn from it, and ask those that have already been successful in it. And then as we wrap this up in breaking the chain, I will tell you, consistency will beat talent 95% of the time. Obviously, there's individuals and people that are just given God-given gifts of talent that, you know what, they don't maybe have to try, and they are absolutely incredible in their craft. However, I will often tell people, and I love sports analogies because I'm pretty certain that 90% of all athletes weren't given a God-given talent. They just sometimes had to work extremely hard, and that meant giving up your weekends. That meant being in the arena or the pitch or the field for 6, 7 hours a day, every day for 10, 12, 15, 20 years straight. Sometimes it's the sacrifice. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's someone I absolutely look up to. Love him for his bodybuilding world. And if you look back into his documentaries, he worked out 6 to 8 hours a day every single day. Like, I'm sorry, that's not talent. That is pure consistency. So if you need to, double up, triple up, 5x it. Just keep putting in the reps. You will get better. And I will tell you, do you think every successful story of an athlete or a business or an employee or an owner came from just sheer talent and luck? No. It came from discipline, hard work, and putting in the reps. So what makes that any different for you? Often so many people fail or are unsuccessful in an endeavor that they're going after, whether it's business or their personal or their professional life. It's because they haven't put in enough reps. See, the scariest part about it is results aren't linear. And what do I mean by that? People say, I put in 2 times the effort, therefore I should get 2x the result. It doesn't work that way. It's like a hockey stick. You could be putting in 10x of the work, and you might not see the result for 5 or 10 years. But here's the crazy thing. When it does take off, eventually you might only have to put in 1% or 1x of the effort, and you'll get 10x of the result or 100x. If you don't believe me, do you think some of these mega millionaires are working that much harder than everybody else at that level? No, they just put in the work for so long that eventually got to a place where it exploded. Every excuse is just you repeating the same story that you've already played and you've already heard. So what is the excuse that you're telling yourself today? Dig deep in that. Analyze it. Check in with yourself. What is this narrative? What is the story that is stopping you from achieving success? And if you don't like it, change it. I'm not a fan of excuses. I own all of my shit, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. And all the mistakes that I've made, and even some of the mistakes I haven't made, I take ownership for them. Because you know why? Because that's just how I am built and bred. Now, there's days where I'm tired. Like, for example, I have filmed 9 days straight, every night at 11 o'clock at night and at midnight, because this is when I'm able to get some time in my day to do so. And that's maybe why I look exhausted. However, I'm still showing up because I have to deliver for you and I have to deliver for me. What am I going to do? Keep putting this off? No. Put the excuses away, show up, put in the work, and guess what? Sometimes that energy shows up. Just like today. I'm exhausted, but I absolutely love doing this. So for me, it energizes me. And then I guess the problem is, when I get home, I can't sleep. But again, that's not your problem. And then not everyone will get you. I wish I had $1 for every single person that said, my parents told me I can't do this. My brother said I shouldn't do that. My family friend said this. My dog says I stink. Whatever the excuse is from the person, they're not on the same path as you. So again, goes back to questioning where you're getting your information, feedback, and opinions from. It's okay. Let them laugh. Let them hate on you. Let them question you. Let them challenge you. Guess what it's going to do? Don't always take it as an offensive attack. If your parents are challenging you, saying, hey, how is this business going to work? you should be able to tell them how it's going to work. It'd be no different if you were standing in front of the Dragon's Den or the Shark Tank and Mark Cuban asked you the same thing. See, the difference is sometimes we get so offensive. It's because from the people that are closest to us, we respect their opinions so much so that when they do challenge us, we think it's an attack. When it's fact, if Mark Cuban or Mr. Wonderful asked you that, you better have your answers or else they're not going to invest in you. So sometimes those questions are valid, but if they're killing your dreams, that's a different story. Now here's a quick little journey of typically what happens. They're going to make fun of you. I'll share a quick story. I was invited to speak in Miami on a topic on dating. Now, I'm not a dating expert. I'm not a matchmaker. I never was. However, my section was on communication, and I found it very important to speak to this because I feel like a lot of dating, relationship breakdowns happen through lack of communication. So I thought, why not? So when I started promoting this on my social medias, I was getting made fun of. I noticed some groups of friends that were saying shit behind my back, and I didn't care. They started calling me Mr. 305. They called me Pitbull. And you know what I did? I laughed it off. Some of these people were my best friends, closest acquaintances, and I know they didn't mean well and they weren't malicious in their intent, but sometimes that does bother you and does hurt. But I began to quickly realize, just let it roll off your back and kind of run with it. Bullies are always going to be out there, and you know how you shut them up? You get so goddamn fucking big that they sit in your shadow and that you can't even hear them anymore. Now, I truly believe not everyone's malicious in their intent, but typically what will happen is they will make fun of you, then they will gossip about you. Sometimes it's because they're jealous and envious that they wish they could do what you're doing. They're also trying to maybe possibly pull you down because they're not going after what they really want. And then when you are successful, they start cheering for you when you really needed the cheering back here when you had nothing. But here's the interesting, then they start cheering for you, then they give you the accolades, but then sometimes, guess what? They start diminishing your light because they want to bring you back down to the comfort zone of their reality. And then they start self-doubting themselves because, oh, well, if Kyle did it, then maybe I could have really done it, but I didn't go after it. And then eventually, guess what they do? They move on to the next person. And then ultimately, not to make this somber, but at the end of the day, if you are a good human being that provides value, service, product, whatever it is, to the world, we're all going to box anyways. So what is the legacy you want to leave? Truly. And the reason why I say that is if they aren't going to be at your funeral, then who cares what they say about you online? The haters are going to show up. And the haters will get louder as you get bigger. Just remember that. So as you grow and scale this business, that is all part of it. And you have to prepare yourself for when these inevitable comments, hate, does come. It doesn't feel good. However, you have to remember the other side of the coin that you're servicing, the people that you're serving, the people that you're helping. That's the people you need to fixate and focus on. So these are the 10 harsh truths that I want you to break free from this chain so you don't end up like that beautiful, majestic animal, the elephant in the circus. I hope that was helpful, and I can't wait to see you in the next module.